So hello and welcome back to this continuing series looking at an in-depth view of the routes that I've planned for the northern section of the Wild Atlantic Way. This section, as I've said before, as this is a continuation of my last video, is moving on from Galway all the way up to Donegal, taking in the likes of Mayo, Sligo, Donegal and Achil Island even included in this. So I'll continue on with the routes. I've given the overview in the previous video, so feel free to go back and have a look at that. This route today we're looking at now is going to be this particular route we're looking at now is day number 2. It's in the same folder under Wild Atlantic Way, Galway to Donegal, and it's called Donegal D2 for day 2, and firm insofar as I've firmed the route and it's good to go. So let's click into it and get through the detail of it. So as you can see, as I mentioned, it goes where we left off in our last video, which is the Delphi Adventure Centre here near Lenan, just over the border from Galway into Mayo, and we're going to continue on out up along the coast, out over onto Achil Island, before coming back in, continuing on up along the coastline, all the way out up through Sligo, then up into Donegal, and then we're going to finish in a beautiful little fishing town of Killybegs. Now, a couple of things to note is that Belmullet I haven't included in this. There is a beautiful lighthouse and a beautiful archaeological site down here as well. But this day is so long that I've just excluded it on this. But if you've got time, or you're the type of rider who will do much longer days than I would do, absolutely feel free to go out and add in that. It's well worth the effort to get out. But for me, I'd rather do Achil Island. It's a much more beautiful island, and if you've never done it before, Achil Island is just stunning. It's probably one of the highlights of this trip. Although there are many highlights in this trip, in this particular day there is some absolutely stunning stuff, so absolutely stick with me on this one. So let's go a bit deeper into it. So we're going to leave Delphi, as I said, where we stayed the night before, and we're going to make our way out here to this lake here, and this is Doolough. Now if you followed the video on the last one, as I mentioned, hopefully you've gone out and you had a quick look at it before you went in for the evening. It's only 5 minutes from the hotel itself, but Doolough is quite possibly the most beautiful place in the country. It's certainly in the top 5 in my mind, and I'll just go to Street View here and I'll show you why. The drive out to it itself is absolutely stunning, and as you can see, when you're looking back out over the lake, just surrounded by mountains here, it's absolutely breathtaking. And if you can get the weather, it's unbelievable. Unfortunately, it does have a dark past. There's a monument up near the top of it that marks the famine walk, where a large amount of people died on their walk. I think they were coming from Louisburg down into Lenan itself, maybe. I'm not 100% sure of the details of it, but a lot of them died along here. As you can imagine, famine was, I think, around 1846, and this would have been a very, very remote place, you know, a harsh piece of land, despite the fact that it's so beautiful. So walking through this, even in the best of health, would be a tough walk in those days, but if you can imagine people in the condition that they and the lifestyle they were enduring, it would have been very, very tough for them. So whilst it is beautiful, you know, I'm always very conscious of the fact that it is the site of a terrible tragedy in Ireland's history. But yeah, it's well worth the visit. Go down. It's a stunning drive. Before I move on from there though, I just want to draw your attention to this road here, and this is called the Sheafree Pass. And again, if you have time, take a few minutes to go up to at least about this point on it here. There's a beautiful pass here, as I said, it's called the Sheafree Pass. This road is absolutely stunning, and then there's some beautiful views out looking over this lake here, which I believe is called the Tawnyard. Let me just see if I can get a line of sight. Yeah, so there's the Tawnyard there below, and there's a little viewing point up here where those trees are. If I just pull up here, so you can see, you can pull in there, little picnic tables, and then there's a little path here that goes out and gives you a proper view out over the Tawnyard. It's absolutely breathtaking, well worth the effort to get up onto it. Great drone spot, beautiful photographs, really great spot. But because this route is linear, and I'm not doubling back on myself too much on this. That's why it's not in this map, but just to be aware of it. So then we'll crack on up to point number 2. Point number 2 is Ross Row, or Silver Strand, one of many silver strands we have here in Ireland. As you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. There is a dead end little car park here, and as you can see, there's the Wild Atlantic Way, one of the signs to show the point. And there is a walk that brings you up over the headland here as well, if you had time, if you wanted to do a bit of a hike or a walk up there, or just out onto the beach. But it's a beautiful spot. We'll make our way back then, and we'll continue on out northwards, out through Lewisburg, and then you get to this coast road along here, which is absolutely fantastic. And the reason it's so beautiful is because certainly at the start of it, it's quite high up, and it's looking out over Clew Bay. And Clew Bay is this section here, this whole inlet here, that's full of thousands of these small little islands. So you get a great view out over them. It's really, really beautiful. If you have time, or if you have any interest, you can pull into point number 3. Point number 3 is just the car park entrance to one of Ireland's most famous mountains, Patrick, named after our patron saint, Saint Patrick. But a lot of people actually hike this in their bare feet as a pilgrimage. I don't know why you would want to do that, but yeah, it is one of these pilgrimage walks where people will actually hike right up to the top. There's a little old white church at the top, and I believe the view out over Clew Bay is off the charts. So yeah, continue on out along the coast road from there. We're going to go through the beautiful little town of Westport, continue on out towards Newport. And again, if you had time, I've done it before in a previous vlog video, but there's a place called Furnace. There's a road when you've left Newport here that brings you out. There it is, there up towards this lake, and it's absolutely stunning. But again, because this route is trying to be as linear as possible, and I can't do every road, I've left it out of this one. And we're going to continue out through Mulranny, which is a stunning drive, and then just after Mulranny, it's very easy, because the main road will take you out along here, which is beautiful, but there is a little turn off that's very easy to miss. I'll just click on the street level here, just this little turn off here, down by this little school. So the main road will take you out and on along that route I just showed you, but watch for this sign here. It's called the Spanish Armada route. And it'll bring you out onto this coastal road here, and it's a high mountain coast road, and it's absolutely stunning. It's called the Spanish Armada Road, I think, because back in 1588 the Spanish Armada had tried to attack the British, I believe, and they got dispersed and sent packing, and they made a run for it back to Spain. They got kind of split up, and they got caught in a very bad storm, and so a huge section of that armada got shipwrecked all along the Irish coast, and a section of it got shipwrecked here, and that's why it's called the Spanish Armada Road, because apparently there are some of the wrecks of the Spanish Armada there back from 1588. Again, I'll just go to street view so you can have a look out. As you can see, absolutely beautiful road. So if you can imagine back in 1588, an armada of ships here in the middle of a storm getting absolutely torn apart. It must have been awful. So anyway, you'll continue on up here, and then you'll make your way out here, and this is where you'll meet the bridge that brings you over onto Achil Sound itself, onto the Achil Island. There's the bridge, little hotel there, and once you cross that, you're actually onto the island. Now a thing again to note here, so a thing to note now is once you've come over the bridge, you'll go past a few little shops, and then keep an eye out here for this junction. You'll notice it here by all the little brown signs. So you'll be coming from here, the shops will be just behind you, and it's very easy to just keep driving straight because this is the main road, but just watch for all these brown signs and then take that left turn out, and that's critical because that's bringing you onto one of the main events of Achil Island, which is the Atlantic Road here. So as you can see, this road here is a big loop out around this section of the island before we continue out onto the main part of the island itself, and this is the Atlantic Road. And I just go to street view here and show you why it's worth the effort to get down. So as you can see, it's absolutely stunning. It's a really breathtaking. The Google car didn't get the weather that day. It's quite dull. But trust me, if the sun is shining, or even if the sun isn't, to be honest with you, I've been down here when it's absolutely torrential rain and the wind is howling, and it's even better looking, to be honest, because the ocean is absolutely wild. It's a tougher drive, alright, but it's wild. And you'll follow this road down. It's absolutely amazing. There's a couple of other viewing points that'll bring you all the way down. There's another viewing point here. If I just click into this one, and you're seeing a bit further down the coast here, and we're going to follow, as you can see, the road here going out off in the distance, and then we're going to go out all along here, heading out. Basically, we're going to go all the way down here. So as you can see, absolutely stunning viewing point. So we're going to continue on, and again keep going all the way out. There's another section here just to be conscious of. You see the road splits here. When you get up to this section here, just make sure you take the left turn. So again, you'll come up and you'll see the sign, the WWW for the Wild Atlantic Way, or the WAW. Don't go right, because that'll bring you off this coastal road and you don't want to miss it. It's absolutely stunning. We'll continue on out, and that'll bring you to point number 7, which is another dead end. And point number 7 is the, I know I'm going to murder the pronunciation of this, the Monaman signal tower. And it's a dead end, and it's a narrow little road, as you can see, like that. But when you get to the top of it, you should meet the signal tower, but there's an absolutely incredible view out over the entirety of the island, looking right back to the mainland. It's absolutely breathtaking. Again, the Google car didn't get the weather today, but you can see it's absolutely stunning. So we'll come down off point number 7, and we'll continue on out all the way up here, bringing us along the main road, and then we'll head down to a couple of dead ends, point number 8 and point number 9. Point number 8 is Donegal Beach, I think it's called. Let me just get the street view. Beautiful stony beach. It's a dead end, as I said, but surrounded by this small little mountain here, cliffs to the rear of you. And then a similar beach, but even bigger, up at point number 9. And point number 9 is Keel Strand itself. It gets quite busy down here. An awful lot of traffic during the summer, so you know you could chop it out if it was too packed, but it's worth the effort to get down. After point number 9, then we're going to continue on out, and we're going to head for point number 10. And again, point number 10 is a dead end, and you have to be watching for the turn for it. You're going to be heading up this road. Beautiful coastal road. As you can see, it gets quite steep. It's going up and up and up, but you need to watch for this little brown sign saying Lochacorrymore Water Treatment Works. And then you kind of make this sharp hairpin turn, and then that will bring you up a small little dirt track, a little twin track, and it will drop you down here by Lochacorrymore. It's a dead end. Google car didn't go beyond the gate here, but you can. And there's a beautiful little lake here. I have some drone footage of this. It's absolutely stunning. It literally takes 2 minutes to come off the road we were on to get into it, so it's worth the effort to get in. It's not gonna hold you up in any way, shape or form for time. You're going to continue on along the coast road. Again, as I said, absolutely stunning coast road. Let me just click in it here. As you can see, high coast road, looking out over the bay, and ultimately this is where we're getting to. This is the very end of the island here. That's Keem Bay, and that's where we're heading for. You can see the road going down into it, and if you want, there's a beautiful trekking walk that goes out along this headland here. But as I said, we're going to go for point number 11, which is Keem Bay, and there's always a little tea and coffee van or ice cream vans here, and again, it's another very busy spot. But it's absolutely stunning. It's just a beautiful spot to get down to. As I said, you can see there the blue track is a hiking track. So you can see I'm up there on the track itself, and if you do the hike, the views are absolutely stunning. See? Stunning. So then from Keem Bay, we're going to make our way back up over that coastal road. We'll bypass now, and then we're going to head for point number 12. And 12, again, you may have to go and do a little bit of off-roading for this, but it's It's nothing too major. But this is Achil Henge. There's a bit of a story behind Achil Henge. Let me just get... yeah, so there it is. It's a stone. It looks kind of reminiscent of Stonehenge. But I've heard various stories about this. I believe the chap who built it in protest, but I've heard various different stories of why he did it. One story is that he was upset with the council that they didn't grant him planning permission for a cave or something he was trying to build here. So as two fingers to them, he built this. I do know it was completely built within a weekend. He brought up a lot of equipment and just laid these slabs over 2 days. He was told to take it down. He's refused. It's been up a good few years now. I think it's been up at least 10 years. He was told to take it down. He refused. He spent a few days in jail. The other story is that he did it in protest of the banking crisis at the time, something to do with Anglo-Irish banks. I think they stiffed him on a deal, or they took his savings or something, so he built this in protest. He was known for protesting. He went in and he sprayed government buildings with cement or horse manure or something like that. I don't know, to be honest, the full story. I know there's a Wikipedia page on him. I'll put a link in so you can get that version of what it is. But if anyone knows the true story of actually what happened, I'd be very interested to hear it. But as I said, a bit of a dirt track up to it, nothing too serious, but it's just become one of these... you know, it's built up a bit of a cult status itself now, so a lot of people who haven't been there before will go up to it and have a look at it. It's one I definitely want to go up and get the drone onto if I can, but yeah, just to be aware of it, to try and get up to it. We'll come back down off there. We'll come down off there and we'll continue back out the route, but instead of going totally back the way we came, we're going to cut off here to the left and cut out to the abandoned village, I think it's called, the deserted famine village. And again, this is a village that was deserted during the time of the famine around 1840s. They just had to up and leave. They couldn't stay out here any longer, so they had to go, and they had to either emigrate or go to Dublin or whatever, but they couldn't stay here any longer. They'd no way of surviving. So it's just one of these villages that got abandoned during those times. We'll cut out here, keeping us honest along the coast. Point number 14 is just a waypoint keeping us along the coast, and that'll bring us all the way back here until we're going back over through the bridge and back onto the mainland out here, and then we're onto this beautiful coastal drive here. Again, if I just click anywhere here along this coastal road, you can see it's an absolutely stunning road. It follows the contour of the coast, so it kind of swerves in and out. It's really well surfaced. You can get a nice pace on it. It's a really, really nice road. That'll bring you up further north, and then when you get to Bangor, you have a choice. This is where I mentioned Belmullet, or down to the Black Sod Lighthouse. When you get to Bangor, you could keep on out here and head out into Belmullet. But as I said, that'll add at least an hour onto your day of an already long day. So as a compromise, I'm taking it out through point number 15, which is Loch Corrymore Drive. Again, I'll just click on the Loch Drive there to show you what it is we're going along to see. Just bear with me. Oh, the Google car didn't go along here, so it won't view it. But trust me, it's a beautiful drive. Point number 16 then is just a waypoint keeping us along the coast, as is point number 17. Point number 18 is definitely a point of interest. This is the Cade Fields. It's an Irish word, Cade. C-E-F-A-I-D-E, Cade Fields. And there's a little visitor centre if you've time to go into it. But it's, as far as I know, it's a Neolithic site. It's some of the oldest walled fields in Ireland. There's something in the region of 6,000 years old. If I just click on so you can see there's the visitor centre. You can go into little car park there. But even if you don't go into the visitor centre, if you go onto the road, there's an absolutely stunning view back to the coastal cliffs here. It's just stunning. I mean, all along here is just beautiful. So we'll move on there from there, and then we'll continue on out Point number 19 then is Downpatrick Head, and if memory serves me correctly, Downpatrick Head is one of the signature sites of the Wild Atlantic Way. Again, I'll just go to street view of it, so you can see there's a little car park here at the end of it, and then you have to get off and walk up to the head itself, which is up here. And if I just click anywhere along here, you'll see beautiful coastal cliffs, some sea stacks there. There's the little hut. I believe they were for watching out for ships during World War II. You'll see the rocks in the ground. They form the word Éire, which is the Irish name for Ireland. I believe that was often done during World War II. Point number 20 then is just the waypoint, keeping us honest. Brings us out by Killala, a beautiful coastal road down through Ballina, another great town in Ireland. If you ever want to do an overnight, Ballina is another great spot. And then point number 21 is just taking us out to make sure in Enniscrone we keep to the beautiful coast here, because there is a beautiful coastline here in Enniscrone. See the old cliff bats. There's the coast. I'll just see if I can get a better shot of that. Yeah, there you go. As you can see, it's a really, really nice little coastal spot. And the other thing interesting about Enniscrone is, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but there is supposed to be a new glamping site being built there, and it became famous in Ireland because the guy who owned it brought in a decommissioned, I think it was a Boeing 747 or a 707 or one of those things, but an entire aeroplane that he was going to turn into glamping site. I know he's got boats and taxis and trains that he's using as the glamping pods instead of standard glamping pods. I'm not 100% sure if he ever got it up off the ground, forgive the pun, because I haven't seen anything on it, but it would be certainly a place I'd love to go and stay if he gets it up and running. Forgive the pun again. But yeah, so then once we leave Enniscrone, we'll head out. Point number 22 again is just keeping honest along the coastal road, as is point number 23. Point number 24 again is just keeping us honest. Brings us out then, we're heading up into Sligo at this stage. You could go out to Strand Hill and Ross's Point if you wanted to at this point. I've left them off this particular route because it's just so large. And then there's these couple of points here which are very interesting. Point number 25 is Benbulbin Mountain, and point number 26 is the Gleniff Horseshoe, and it's so called because the actual mountain itself there kind of forms the shape of a horseshoe. So if I just go to point number 25, or even just before it, you'll see what it is we're going in to see here. And it's not great view because the sun is blurring out the camera, but here's Benbulbin. It's a very unusual mountain. I've never seen it's like a tabletop mountain. To me it looks like a really wide version of the Devil's Rock from the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but it's a beautiful, beautiful mountain, and it's a beautiful drive into it. You can actually drive right the way up to a little car park that all the hikers use. Here, where is it? You'll know you've got there because obviously there'll be cars in it, but there's also a little bridge, and then you can continue on up to see there's two little roads here. They're dead ends, but they're worth the effort to drive up. They are beautiful. Hopefully if the camera, yeah, you can see they're beautiful. They get a little bit gravelly and twin tracky, but it's a beautiful place to drive up into, but you will have to drive out. The one thing I would say is when you're driving this section here, just be really, really careful. I have found that sometimes there is a wire fence that the farmers put across to keep the livestock in. Sometimes, I've noticed a lot lately, it has been taken down, but sometimes it is in place, and sometimes they don't have a high-vis marker on it. So the first time I ever went up here, I nearly was decapitated because I drove right up to the wire, and I literally only saw it at the last second. It's been, as far as I know, it's been done away with, but sometimes I've been there since, and it kind of reappears every now and then. So be very careful when you're driving up along this road towards Benbulbin and the car park, and keep your eye out for the wire. Hopefully it has been removed because it was clearly a danger. You'll come back out of there and we'll take the little inner roads, and then you'll come up, and there's this is a loop drive. There's a way in and a way out. They're literally, from here, they're only like 50 yards apart. And then you can drive into the Gleniff Horseshoe here. As you can see, it's all forested, this beautiful forested valley. There's the horseshoe itself. The valley, these mountains form a horseshoe kind of shape themselves. If I just click in here and try and get a better picture of it, I think I have drone footage of this place, but it's an absolutely stunning little place to go into. There's waterfalls all around it, and it's just a beautiful spot. You'll come out of here, as you can see down here, there's the Eagle's Rock. Again, I don't think there's any photographs of it here. Yeah, I'll try and find a photograph of Eagle's Rock, but it's like our version of Scotland's Old Man of Store. But then we'll continue on down, and we're heading out here to Mullaghmore. Again, it's a dead end, and we're kind of doing a loop, but it's worth the effort to get down. An awful lot of history here. Mullaghmore has Classiebawn Castle on it. There's the entrance. That's the gatehouse to the entrance of Classiebawn Castle. And there's the castle off in the distance. It's hard to get there, but if you're on Instagram, I guarantee you've seen Classiebawn Castle. You can make your way out onto the coast road here, and it's absolutely stunning. Again, I think I have drone footage of this. I'll put it in if I do. But you can see Classiebawn Castle there in the back. I believe it was the there's some dark history to Classiebawn Castle. I believe Mountbatten lived there, but it's a beautiful site, absolutely beautiful site. And then here you have Mullaghmore Harbour itself. There's a nice little hotel there. Stayed here with the club a few years ago. It's a great site. It looks back over at the beach. So we'll come out there, and then we're going to come out along the coast road again, continuing on up. We're nearly finished now. Point number 30 is just keeping us honest along the coast road. That'll bring us out all the way through Ballantrae, out into Donegal, and then this beautiful road from Donegal all the way out to Killybegs. And then Killybegs itself is a beautiful little fishing town. I always make it my business to stay in Killybegs on this trip. As you can see, it's a proper fishing port. I normally stay in this hotel here. I think it's called the Tara Hotel, but always ask for a room here at the front that's facing out over the harbour, because if you're on the other side of the hotel, you're just looking back into a road. There's another hotel here called the Bayview. I've stayed in that. That's very nice as well. And again, make sure you try and get a room looking out over the harbour here. But both of them are like, there's a great little restaurant and bar here in the Tara Hotel. It's really nice, gorgeous little village, and it tees us up nicely then for the next day. So yeah, so that's the end of the day 2 section of this journey. As you can see, there's a lot in it. There was some stunning sights, everything from Doolough to Achil Island, the Atlantic Road, the Gleniff Horseshoe, Benbulbin. There's just so much to see. You're never out of it in this day. It's absolutely epic. I mean, a proper day's driving in this. As I said, it's a long route. I'd normally leave at about 9 or 10 in the morning, and I'd probably get into Killybegs around the 7 o'clock mark. So that's why I had to kind of cut some sections out of it. But you won't feel you've missed anything. I've taken in the best of the best onto this one. So yeah, so let's crack on, and we'll move on then in the next section to the day 3. Okay, thanks very much for watching, guys.